sleeping, keep awaking, beside the woman next to me.
Hi, Las Vegas. I'm Sancho Van Ryan. I have a very special guest for you today on the Viva Vegas TV Show. His name is DJ Ikon. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got new music coming out. We've got some business tips. And, of course, we're talking about the Las Vegas lifestyle that we love. But right before we do that, we want to give you a tip every week to all you marketers or business owners out there that are trying to, find your way with social media, how to represent your company and promote yourself. So today's tip of the week is brought to you by the Social Media Examiner. Have you ever had, you ever shared something from your website and you put it on Facebook and it pulled in the wrong picture or the wrong link or the wrong text?
Yes, that happens all the time.
Super annoying, right? Okay, and I figured this would be a good tip because everybody uses Facebook. So socialmediaexaminer.com, they're really awesome. They give a lot of really free content telling you about how to navigate the social media jungle. And their tip of the week, which I'm going to steal, thank you, Michael Stelzner, is called the Facebook delinting tool. We'll just Google Facebook delint, and you'll go to a developer page where you can see everything that Facebook has in their cache or the cache about your website. And you can just click a button and you can clear it, and then it should pull in all the fresh information, and you'll be good to go.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so that's your tip of the week, guys. But now, with no further ado, he's a very good friend of mine, very successful headliner here in Las Vegas. Give a big warm welcome to DJ Ikon, a.k.a. Aaron White.
Thanks, guys. How you doing?
So three things this show is about. We do personal development. We talk a lot about business and, of course, the Vegas lifestyle that we love. And I think you also capture all three of those things.
I would like to think so, yeah.
So for everybody that doesn't know about you, give us the 2-minute elevator speech.
All right. DJ Ikon grew up in Lake Tahoe, moved down to Vegas 2004. Been a DJ down here ever since. Part owner of Future Sneaker Boutique, Dope Magazine in Seattle, and Blackout Artists.
Wow. So you have a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Yes. Busy guy.
So from a small business perspective, I'm sure there's a lot of different accomplishments, but I want to start with something that's really close to my heart. Talk to me about music and how did you get into that?
It's kind of funny. I grew up in Lake Tahoe, and I always wanted to be a DJ. I'd go to like snowboard tournaments and all that stuff, and there was always DJs there, and it was like a big part of that scene. But we had no record stores in Lake Tahoe at all. So my first job outside of high school, I moved down to Reno, and I got a job at this place called Planet DJ, and I literally just threw myself into like music and DJing. I was surrounded by all these DJs and just fell in love with it. And I mean, it's really been my only job outside of, when I was like 21 trying to, pay rent and, working at Best Buy and those kind of things. But that's really been my only career goal.
I'm so jealous of you. Because I always wanted to be a DJ. And you wanted to be a DJ, but you actually became one. And I just became I don't know what.
And it was a funny transition, though, because I went from like, oh, it was cool to like, hey, this is really fun. And then I was like, 21, 22 in college, like playing all these like, college parties and frat parties and doing all these things. And I was like, I don't want to do anything else for the rest of my life. This is great.
Right. Well, I got a shout out to my man, Michael Sartain. Michael, Tiffany, if you guys are still alive, if the sharks haven't eaten you in Belize or Mexico or Brazil or wherever it is the boat is taking you today, we miss you.
Or all the single ladies, if they haven't eaten you either.
Singles cruise. But the reason why I bring that up is because Michael always asks one question. When did you know that that DJing was going to be your one thing that you were going to do?
Probably,
you always wanted to do it, but there probably came a time when you were just like, it's really going to happen.
Probably 2004 when I moved to Vegas. I was kind of making it, but not really making it in Reno. And then I was invited down here. I did this DJ battle, and I won it. And Pure Management actually moved me down here to open Pure. So at that time, I was like, it was kind of, do I stay in Reno and just kind of keep doing what I'm doing and it's comfortable and my family's up there, or I moved to Vegas and I
Nothing
decided,
against Reno, but
no, and it ended up being, it was the best thing I ever did, for sure. It was great. That's when I knew. I was like, I can do this. And then once I came here, and there were actually people that like Hollywood and ROB and Frankie and these guys they had a career as a DJ, and I was like, wow, you can be really successful at this. And and do it for for a long time.
So who was it that brought you out here? Take us back. It's 2004. You're in Reno. Did you get was there Facebook back then?
No, that's
Would
funny.
you get a phone call on a landline, or did you get an email, or how did it happen?
No, I did get a call on the landline. But we used to throw me and actually one of my partners in Feature, EJ. We used to throw parties in Reno, and we brought up DJ Hollywood, and then just through that, bringing him up a couple times, and then he invited us down to Vegas a couple times. We just became really, really close.
Yep.
And just that relationship, he was like, dude, I really think you could make it down here. And then he got me into the battle, and from there it was kind of up to me. But like I said, it was really successful, and it just kind of went from there. And it was really good having that, that network in place too, because when I first moved down here, I got to live with him, and he kind of showed me the ropes, and I had that that mentor, mentee kind of thing going on, and it helped me immensely.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because that's what we talk a lot about. Mentors, finding mentors on the show. It was DJ Hollywood for you.
That was absolutely, yeah.
And you actually helped bring him out here, and then he was out here, and he brought you out here.
Exactly.
Which is like just what we were talking about with DJ Stellar the other week. All of the people that are small businessmen or businessmen that we're stronger if we work together.
Absolutely.
And having those mentors or those friends to bounce ideas off, or to call and when you need help.
And to learn, when you're 21, 22, 23, 24, you're still learning, who you are and what's going on, and to have somebody that...
I don't think I did till I was 29. I still don't know who I am.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're here. It's 2004. Was that when Pure opened?
That was when I think Pure opened in 2005, late 2005. Right in there. It was really late 2004, and then I think they kind of moved me down middle of 2000 or late 2004, early 2005. Started at Tangerine, and then that was a month or two of that, and then Pure opened right after that.
Now DJs didn't get paid much back in these days, right?
No, it's funny. The first DJ gig I ever had, I made $50 spinning.
Wow.
At this after hours for 5 hours, and I was so happy though. I was like, someone's paying me to do this.
Yep. And that's again doing what you love and getting paid to do it. There's nothing better. I mean, even though it was $50, it was still
to me that was $1 million. Yeah, the first time I saw my name on a flyer, and it was so small, but I was like, oh, this is amazing. That was my 15 minutes of fame right there. It was great.
Yep. No, that's awesome. So you have a lot of other stuff going on. It's not just DJing for you. It's not just headlining. Music production. Tell me about that.
So about 2 years ago, I kind of decided that, I kind of view DJing as almost like a professional athlete. I can almost age myself out of this job and whatnot. And I just, I loved music, and I started hanging out with a couple of producer guys, and they were like, you have an ear for it. You should really, take this seriously. So I did. I went to school for it.
Yep.
And then I put out a song which was released on Day by Day's label. That was 2 years ago, and it ended up we hit number 20 on Billboard Top 100, which is really cool. And then
I remember we did a launch party with you.
Yeah.
Was that the bank?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had Cicely Treasures from Shiny Toy Guns saying on it, and at the time it was a really big platform for me, because I was like, it was one of those moments where I was like, I think I can do this. So
So again, taking risks. Little baby steps and getting help, and then moving forward. And then when you came time to take this risk, you were like, well, I took it before, I can do it again.
So last couple of years, just spent a lot of time doing a lot of remixes and just kind of honing my craft, getting my sound down. And then I was asked to put out an album, and so just literally spent the last 4 weeks just pretty much 12, 14 hours a day, every day in the studio, just coming up with new ideas. And we got Nina Sung on there, Electric Valentine's on there. Doing a collab with E-Rock and Clayton Williams. We got a track that's going to feature Tinashe on it. So just a lot of big things, which is really cool.
And for everyone who is an aspiring DJ out there, what's the best program to use? At Ableton these days, Pro Tools?
I would say the easiest program to learn is Ableton.
Okay.
I don't know that it's the best or the worst. It's really just a matter of...
It was just way over my head. I tried to learn Ableton. It was just...
It's just a matter of what you're comfortable on. Some people are a whiz at Pro Tools, and I can't even look at Pro Tools. I don't even know what it is.
Yep.
But I know Logic and Ableton. But yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable with.
So you have a EP coming out?
I do.
Can you tell us anything about it?
It's going to be 6 tracks.
Yep.
It's going to be coming out on the Electric Family label. It's gonna be sometime on the first around the first of the year.
We love Steve and
yeah,
the whole gang.
They're great.
Awesome
Me too.
guys.
I love those guys. Big supporters of me for a long time. Huge, just they have always had my back with everything. And EDM.com has done a huge amount of helping me get my tracks out there, like on a really big
shout out to Steve and the crew from Electric Family.
Absolutely. So just it's just really exciting. It's the first time I've ever kind of taken that leap into just an entire, this is like this is it. This is what I do, and it's like a little bit nerve wracking, a little bit scary, but at the same time it's exciting, and I'm really. I believe in it, and it's going to be fun.
That's a great segue into my next question, because we talk a lot about the successes on the show. We interview a lot of people who are successful. I wanted to get into some of the darker side and not the dirty side, but just this, like you said, scary. Because, there's been many, many times when, we've run out of money, or you didn't know where your next check was coming from, or how you were going to pay the employees or keep the lights on. And I think that's a really getting over that fear of the unknown, that the whole world is going to blow up. And, it's really scary for a lot of people, especially people who, you might be listening and you may never have had your own company, and you may have always had a job. So you just had that security. Tell me about how the journey's been for you and some of the ups and downs.
Oh man, it's definitely been a roller coaster. I've had 3 times in my career where I found myself, like you said, don't know where my next paycheck was going to come from. I walked into work, and one time it was the company was sold to another company, and they were like, nobody works here anymore.
Yep.
And that came literally. It was one day everything was great, and the next day it was like, I'm out of work. What do I do? What do I do? And then then it happened again. Same thing. Like the company that I was working for, they just something happened, and we weren't working there anymore. But I do know that every time that happens, like you pick yourself up, and then you get, it's like it almost sounds cheesy, but you get stronger, and you get more comfortable with the fact that what, I've done it once, I can do it again, and what, I've done it again, and I've done it again, and I can make it. You know what I mean? If you do fall on your face, you pick yourself up, and I think it gives you a lot of strength as you get older.
Absolutely.
Those experiences.
And you've got big examples like Donald Trump and some of the other huge titans of industry who declared bankruptcy maybe sometimes more than once.
More than once, right?
And
exactly.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. Now, having said that, it's really scary sometimes. When you think everything's going to fall apart, and people are gonna you have the vision of those raids on the banks back in the Depression, and then it's like that's not really. I mean, I'm sure it happens maybe in some third world countries, but for most people, the sun's going to shine tomorrow. Just remember, take a deep breath. And I think something that's really helped me is I can't remember what podcast I was watching, but they told him to come up with 3 scenarios, and they got this from the Air Force. So they were like, scenario 1 is best case scenario, so you should have a plan for that. They're telling the pilots on the aircraft carriers in the Gulf. And scenario 2 is what will probably happen, not as good as best case, and so you should come up with a plan for that. And scenario 3 is worst case scenario.
Right.
And most people, when they get afraid and they lock up, it's because of the fear of the unknown. So find out what the worst case scenario that you think is, and then figure out your plan to handle that. And that takes a lot of the unknown out of it.
That's funny. Like,
I wish I had known that 10 years ago.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. I wish that, I wish 10 years ago I would have even thought that, because 10 years ago that thought never even crossed my mind. It was like, I'm having so much fun. I'm partying. I'm making money. Like, this is
everything's
incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, nothing could ever go wrong. That's so funny.
But I mean, I think that those of us, like myself and you, we're both Capricorns. We just found this out 2 seconds ago. Those of us that are eternal optimists make good entrepreneurs, because if we knew ahead of time all the shit that we were gonna have to go through, and the heartache, and the not knowing, and
I'd never leave my house.
We never would have signed up for it. We were like, no, thank you. We'll just go get a job and collect a paycheck. But I think something you said was really funny. A lot of people who have jobs, they think they have security, but 3 times you were working for a company, and you went in one day and you thought you had that steady paycheck, and they said, guess what? We're closed, we're bought,
whatever,
shit out of luck.
Right.
So I think it's an illusion. And when you are a small business owner, you're always out of a job. So you never get to settle down. And that's kind of scary.
And that was actually one of my main driving forces to try to open my own businesses was after the second time that happened, I was like, I want to be my own boss. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to depend on somebody, to sign that paycheck every week and know that, if that, what happens again if I ever caught myself in that situation again. I don't want to ever want to be that guy ever again. And so that was like a big driving force to, spread out, and diversify as much as possible so that you have multiple income sources and just multiple things going on. So if one falls off, you're not solely dependent,
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And for those of you out there who might be a little nervous to just take the plunge like we did and go all out, you don't have to do that. You can keep your day job. You can start your business on the side and, build it up slowly but slowly. And then as it comes to a point where it can take over your business, then you can take the plunge.
Exactly.
Knowing that you're kind of protected. My little brother's actually Prem Jinadasa over in Australia. He's great at this. He reads the business books that I read, and he actually does what they say.
Oh,
I read what they say, and I just keep risking everything and throwing everything back into the company. But he's like, he's a great example to me of a discipline, because he keeps his day job and he's built up his business slowly but slowly. And they're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year now. And he imports makeup brushes into Australia that you can't buy in Australia. Oh. So it's really cool. They're really well sought after, and I really admire him because he's built an amazing business just in his spare time.
I'm very much like you. I'm like, just put it all back in. Let's just
that's why we're in Vegas.
Till the wheels fall off.
Hey, you got to bet big or go home.
That's right.
So you started out as a DJ. You made $50 on your first gig, and then now you're the headliner. I saw you at Excess headlining last week. Was it Monday?
That was, Monday.
Talk to me about that transition.
That's
how do you keep your feet on the ground?
It's a really funny thing for a DJ to do. There's basically two ways to do it. You either like produce a hit song, or you basically wake up one day and you're like, I decided that I don't want to be an opener anymore. And if I'm not going to be an opener anymore, what are the things that I'm going to do to make myself a headliner? And so, I kind of looked at what everyone else was doing and kind of isolated those things, and then just went after it and said, these are the things that make you a headliner and not an opener anymore. And then in return, you get paid more money.
Can you share some of those with us? Is that secret?
No, absolutely. I would say the biggest thing that most openers or beginning DJs do is they don't treat this like a business. And this is absolutely a business. This is big business now. DJing is a career. It's big business. You look at successful DJs, they are a team of people. In fact, I had dinner with Blau last night, and he was telling me with the structure of his team, and it's incredible the amount of money that these guys spend every month on growing their business,
and planning and strategy and marketing, just like any other business.
Yes, exactly. It's a team of people that have thought about every angle, and they go after it with, like you said, a strategy. And that's the way I kind of started approaching it 2 years ago. Was like, what is the business plan for being a headlining DJ? And I put that business plan together and went after it and tried to follow those goals.
God, I wish I had a business plan before I got into advertising and events. I was working at a club, and then I quit, and then I still wanted to go to a club. So I was like, how do I figure out a way that I can keep doing this? And it just kind of happened. So what are some of the things that the headliner does? Is it a musical part? Is it just being more professional and showing up on time? I mean, I'm sure that's the base end of what you have to do just to get in the door.
I would say the biggest thing is marketing. Is marketing yourself and marketing yourself to people so that they want to come and see you. Like, there's a reason why Calvin Harris gets paid so much money. It's because he sells tickets. And you don't have to sell tickets, but you have to get people to come see you and come visit you and come hang out with you. And each level that increases, you get more money and you get more status within the within the industry, basically. So I would say marketing and effective marketing is the biggest thing. Is going out there and making sure that people want to hang out with you and will come know how to hang out with you, and when they hang out with you, making sure that everyone sees them hanging out with you, and it's like an event. You have to become an event.
You got to make it a production. I was talking to Chet Buchanan. Shout out to Chet Buchanan and the XS guys for the toy drive. Amazing event yesterday. I think they raised over $195,000 in toys for the kids. So
that's such a great event every year.
Everybody from 98.5 KLUC, XS and Tryst nightclubs, hats off to you. But he was talking about this too. And some people don't understand guys like us that have to kind of make a presentation and a production out of everything. And that's just what makes us tick, and we love to do it. So I'm sorry if I make everything too much of a production, but it's not going to change. I'm not going to.
And I'm not going to apologize for it.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But you have to put that little bit of showmanship and that pizzazz into it, because
you're an entertainer.
That's what makes you a successful DJ.
Right, exactly. It was funny. Shift and I were talking about this, DJ Shift from Vegas the other day, and he was saying how so many people look at DJing as just playing music, but he's like, you need to be an entertainer. You need to be entertaining people on every level when it comes to this job. Whether it's social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's your website, whether it's your personal relationships, you have to be entertaining. And he's absolutely right. That is a huge part of what we do is, we are entertainers, no different than like a show on the strip. Right. And that's a good way to look at it, I think. Yeah, and it's something that we really believe at Future Media Group about business in general, is it's about giving value. And entertainment is a huge value because people want to be entertained. They want to come home from work and look at Instagram and see something funny, or turn on the TV and laugh, and that is valuable. And it's great because it kind of gets them out of their day-to-day routine. And for us to be in an industry where we get to do that for other people is such a blessing and so rewarding, because it's so much fun. First of all, to be entertained, but it's even more fun to be the entertainer, I think, for some people. And it's just something really special. I traveled all over the world before I moved here, Ibiza a lot, and all over Europe, Australia, here. And to be able to, interact with people and to go to parties and listen to electronic music, which is what I love to do. And then to be able to come to a city like Vegas, which is, undisputedly the #1 hotspot in the world right now, and has been for the last few years for entertainment. And to be able to make events and experiences that touch people like that, it's really special. It is. And, it's funny, like, what we do is we bring people into our lives in a way that, a lot of my friends have 9-to-5 jobs. So for them to come out and get to, hang out and experience like the things that we kind of do every day, but to them it's a really big deal, and it's really fun for them. And in return, like, that makes it fun for us, because, so many of these guys are going to go to work and be like, oh my God, you can't believe what we did last night or whatever. And that's great. Like, tell me awesome. What are the craziest stories, some of the craziest stories you've had of being a DJ all over the country, not just here in Vegas? Man, I mean, there's been times where you're just like, you're literally just going from party to party to party, planes, trains, and automobiles, literally. I mean, I've been stuck places before with no cell phone. Have you ever opened for like another huge DJ and it was just a train wreck? Not because you train wrecked, but because they came in and their people were just like, get everybody out of here, and I need like 5,000 red M&Ms, 1.2 meters from my DJ booth to the right. What's funny is, like, I find that the biggest guys are typically the nicest. That's true. It's like the mid-level to like even like, lower level guys that have like the worst attitudes, and they're the guys that are like, they're demanding things and all this stuff. And in reality, the biggest guys are typically the guys that will come in. Tiesto's a perfect example. One of the nicest guys I've ever met comes in, remembers your name every time, remembers something about you, wants you to hang out with him. After the club, you're going and hanging out with him. He's partying with you. He really brings you into the fold. And you're like, dude, you could just tell me to, get out of the booth and go home and not even think about it, but you don't. You make the time. Everyone around you is having a good time. It's guys like that are really, really awesome. I gotta agree with you. I've met a lot of those top guys, and from Calvin Harris to Roger Sanchez, Armin van Buren. Who were we with the other night with Saul at Marquee? ATB. Just really, really nice guys. Really all nice guys, down to earth. They treat you like human beings, and it's amazing because you feel like you're kind of standing next to a god. And it's pretty incredible. I will tell you this: the worst people to deal with are reality stars. I don't know why, but these people literally think they are God. Without a doubt, they are the worst people to deal with. I can agree. I got my start out interviewing all the TV stars, and but a lot of them were really nice too. What I found is it goes either all really good or all really bad. It's like there's no in between. It's either they're super nice or they just don't care. I will tell you this: the funniest thing that happens is when someone shows up and they talk about themselves in the third person. And this happens actually quite a lot, where they'll be like, "Excuse me, DJ Buttercup doesn't appreciate this," or DJ Buttercup would like a drink, or whatever it is, where you're like, you realize that you're standing right there, right?
You realize that you are DJ Buttercup. That's funny, man. So, you know, it's great talking about all the stuff you're doing in music. Talk to me about your other companies that you have. Blackout Artists is something that's super close to our hearts at Viva Vegas. You know, Kalika and Jack have been very big friends and supporters of ours forever. Shout out to you guys. How did that all come about, and what's your role in it?
So I'm one of the owners, I guess you could say, / partners of it. It's a 4-way kind of split between Kalika Oakland, Jack Holton, DJ Karma, and myself. And it was basically kind of, you know, Karma and I were basically at this point of careers where, like, we need somebody we want to be the good guys. We want somebody to handle being the bad guy. And Kalika at the time was like, hey, I'll do that for you guys. So it's really started off really small.
Yep.
She was just basically like, here's a lead, and, you know, you talk about the money, and then I'll give you like 5% of whatever you handle the deal. Right. And then that kind of led into Jack getting involved, and he was like, hey, you know, we could really take this and do something with it. And we were like, yeah, that sounds great. And then, you know, we just kind of formed this company, and it went from being just a promotions company to like a DJ booking. Now we do artist bookings, like all over the country. We do DJ bookings all over the country. And we're kind of almost like a brokerage house for entertainment. Like, you can come to us, and you don't even have to book like a Blackout artist. If you want somebody or whatever it is, we'll just put you in contact with who you need to, and we just get it done. And it's a really cool dynamic.
What's the link that people can go to so I want to book? You guys are doing Mario Lopez, I think, on New Year's Eve at Park in San Diego. So if I'm in Wisconsin and I have XYZ nightclub and I want to book Mario Lopez, how do I get in touch with the Blackout Artist?
www.blackoutartist.com. Or you can contact, and that's obviously the easiest way. Just hit us up online. Facebook, Blackout Artist, and then Twitter and social media is everything is at Blackout Artist.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, one other thing that I really love and that we're super passionate about is shoes. From a business standpoint, you have a successful career. You know, you kind of get to the top and you're headlining in Vegas. What possessed you to start a sneaker boutique? Feature sneaker boutique.
It was kind of random. Two of my partners I grew up with in Reno. They moved down here. One of them owned a store in Reno, and, you know, he moved down here. The store was still open in Reno, and then he was basically like, you know, he was kind of like personal shopping for a bunch of people in Vegas. And he was like, you know, there's this whole scene down here of people like hosts and cocktail waitresses and DJs and whatnot. They have to go out all the time. They have to look good all the time, and they want to, and they have basically like disposable income. He's like, we should open a sneaker boutique down here, and let's really try to break the mold of what, you know, a Vegas sneaker boutique could be. So it started off really slow. I mean, it started off in, we had this little tiny spot in Chinatown, and then we had IKEA shelves on the walls, and we only carried like 5 brands, you know what I mean? But now it's developed into, you know, like something really cool. We just did our second remodel. Now it's, you know, we doubled the size. Now it's 2 levels. We carry, you know, we only carry like limited edition stuff. We have a collab coming out with New Balance and Saucony. We have, you know, just it's become like it's become awesome.
So you found, if I could paraphrase this for other people thinking about opening up a second business or a business, you found a niche in the market that was pretty well defined, because one of the things that we say a lot is that the companies for everybody are already done. The Apples of the world, and, you know, the IBMs of the world, they're already done. You cannot, or not without millions and millions and millions of dollars, create the company for everybody. So you have to do something remarkable, and one of the ways to do that is to go after one small niche. And you found the industry people. We found the industry people, and then that kind of,
you know, that the industry people kind of brought it out into, you know, kind of random. We carried this one pair of shoes, and they were great for the pool, right? They were like these plastic Chucks. And all of a sudden we had hospital people coming in, and they were like, we can only wear this one type of shoe per hospital regulations, but they're so ugly. Oh my God, these look like Chucks. These were great. And all of a sudden we had tons of hospital people coming in, and that, you know, it's just developed into all these different avenues of people that want, you know, that want our products.
Now, did you bootstrap this business, or did you get a bunch of money and did you start the build out?
We there was 4 of us involved, and we all just put in, You know, at the time, it seemed like a lot of money.
Yep.
Now, looking back on it, we realize how little money we actually started with. But at the time, we were like, oh, my God, like, this is so much money.
So you bootstrapped it.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, you just put all your credit cards. Yep. I've done this a few times. You know,
exactly.
It's not my first rodeo anymore. So, but the first time, it's really scary.
Oh, it is. It was.
It's like you're looking at all the balances are red. You're like maxed out.
And it was funny because we were literally like, we broke it down to, okay, we have to sell we have to sell this many pairs of shoes every day to break even.
How many pairs was it?
It was 3 pairs of shoes a day.
That's it? That's awesome.
To break even. Yeah, in the beginning. It was great.
So that's another point. That's another good suggestion there. So you start small,
keep
your overhead low,
right,
and then you can build incrementally.
And we were kind of like nervous about our location because we knew it wasn't the best location, but we had done research and a lot of people said that shoes or fashion is something that if you have it and it's the only place to get it, people will search you out and they don't mind being a destination if they know they can get what they want. And a lot of boutiques from all over the country that were really successful are in really bad locations. And that's what they all said. They were like, don't kill yourself on thinking location, because if you have something people want, they'll come for it. And luckily enough, that worked out for us.
Now, since then. How long ago did you open this?
3 years ago.
Okay. Since then, there's been a huge kind of sneaker revolution. I don't know is it America wide? Is it just in Vegas?
No, I would say it's probably worldwide.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
How did this happen?
You know what? I think that it kind of came about like 2 ways. I think that a lot of it was a lot of celebrities, and even like take DJs for instance. They're so into like sneakers that as like their fame and increased and they were into it, it's just a natural. Everybody became into it, and then for so long, everybody was just like, I just want Nikes, right? For so long, but all of a sudden, all these other companies like Adidas, for instance, 5 years ago, you would have been like, I don't know if I'd actually wear everything but like these one shoe. And all of a sudden, they're coming out with these crazy colorways, and now everybody's like, oh my God, Adidas are great, or New Balance is great, because everybody really stepped it up, and now there's 50 companies out there that everybody's like, wow, these are amazing, and they're all doing like big limited edition programs, and there's a real movement now, and you have like, you have people that are diehard fans, like we'll do a shoe release, and we'll have 100 people lined up outside the store to get a pair of shoes. It's crazy. Like it's mind-boggling to me, but they love it,
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So you kind of rode that trend of pop culture.
Exactly.
And that really helped the business.
Absolutely.
Now, you said you had a limited edition collaboration with Saucony, which is a huge shoe brand. How did you get to the decision makers? It's such a big company, because little business guys like me are always, it's kind of tough to get to, the different layers of the corporate. It
was the collab game is very interesting. It takes a long time, and luckily one of my partners in the business, he just doesn't take no for an answer, and he basically was like, we want to do. I mean, from the day we opened, he was like, we want to do this, and they're like, you got to sell some shoes first. But he was just really on it, and we've just happened to do really well with a couple brands and
so now does this mean there's going to be a feature sneaker Saucony
collab
runner made?
Exactly. So they'll have around 300 pairs made, and then they'll be distributed out throughout the country, and then we'll probably get a limited amount for ourselves, and then we'll just distribute them, and they'll say feature, and we get to pick the colors, and it's really exciting. It's like a really, really big step for us. We're
That's
really
awesome.
Yeah.
So then where do you go to make all the decisions and do all the design?
Is
it all done over Skype, or do you go to California?
No, yeah, you actually fly. To their headquarters, and you kind of, the whole thing is done over the internet until the final process. And then you fly out there, and then you meet with the designers, this is kind of how you just kind of finalize it all.
I better get a pair of those. I love that party you did at the bank, by the way, with Nike ID.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit about living in Vegas, because I think a lot of people have a weird view, and I've been talking to a lot of people yesterday at the toy drive and seeing families and a lot of the community work that people are doing. It's kind of on my mind as we're coming into the holidays, to just put that out there, that people are just real people here, and yes, we have a lot of fun and we're very blessed, and but we're just regular people. We don't live in hotels. Although I'm sorry
a lot
for
of time
all our friends on the
hotels.
East Coast, because it's been like 60, 70, 80 degrees this past week. It's been beautiful, beautiful weather in December, in the middle of December, which should be winter.
Thank God we're not in Buffalo, right?
That's why I moved here. I mean, I've been complaining that the snowboarding season isn't started yet, but I'm good with what we got now, so we're good.
Funny.
Speaking of which, birthdays coming up. What's going on?
Yeah, so January, my Capricorn brother over here.
Yep.
Yeah, so got a whole like birthday tour planned in January. Kicking it off at Excess on January 5th, and then I'm doing a whole East Coast tour. Doing Atlantic City, Boston, Chicago, Shrine at Foxwoods, doing Sacramento, San Diego, LA. So just a big, go on my website, djikonlive.com. You can get all the tour dates. Yeah, it's really exciting. This year I really started to try to plan it like 4 months ago because I really wanted to do something big. We were talking about big birthdays and I really wanted to try to do something.
Don't even start. My birthday's on Christmas Day, so he was giving me crap about it. Probably the worst day to have your birthday.
I'm not gonna lie, that is. I thought mine was bad because I'm so close to Christmas, but on Christmas Day,
you don't get no love. You don't get any attention. You know, I probably need a little bit too much attention, but that's probably because I was deprived when I was growing up. So, cool, man. Well, what's your favorite place to play?
I mean, I would definitely say Excess is up there for sure. That venue is amazing. Park in San Diego is definitely, Shrine in Foxwoods. That's another room that is just absolutely amazing. And then anytime you get a chance to play like outdoors for a lot of people, that's just a whole nother experience.
You ever done a festival before?
I've done 2 festivals. The best one I did was a Shamrock Festival in San Diego where they actually closed down all the streets in the Gaslamp district. That was pretty amazing. It was it's nothing like 100,000 people just staring at you. You know, that was a monumental moment in my career for sure to look at. You know, festivals are amazing.
Right. I want to go into a little bit of self-development now.
Okay.
You talked a lot about business, talked a lot about Vegas.
Awesome.
What's your view on self-development? Are you a Tony Robbins guy, Robert Kiyosaki guy? Do you read a lot? How do you keep things fresh? How do you keep motivated?
That's funny. I do read a lot, but I typically don't read any self-help, anything. What keeps me motivated is just surrounding myself with successful people and hearing what they do and trying to implement the things that they do into my own life. I found that, when you're around someone that's really motivated, you just pick up on the things that they're doing, and everyone has little tips that they do. Like, one person that I met with actually a couple days ago, he was like, a lot of people say this, and he's like, write everything down. Doesn't matter how stupid of an idea it is.
I write too much stuff down, but yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? But it's funny because he's like, every once in a while I'll go back and I'll look at notes from like, I don't know, 3 years ago. And all of a sudden something will pop out, and he actually turned an idea that he had 3 years ago into a successful business. This was like, a couple years back.
What was it?
He calls it like his paperclip. He was like, one day somebody was like, we need the paperclip. Yep. And this guy invented the paperclip, and now he's a billionaire. Yep. So his idea was, it's kind of like an internet like tech thing, but it was his idea of the paperclip. It was something to get viral content more viral, and he sold the business for millions of dollars.
I was listening to Richard Branson on the way over here. I'm reading his new book. It's called The Virgin Way. Okay. And Richard Branson he's dyslexic, so he has to keep copious notes, and he keeps like actual physical notepads. He doesn't do it on a tablet or anything. And then when he's finished, he keeps it. And he said that it's actually helped him in a lot of negotiation situations because, people will have a meeting and they'll be like, oh, yeah, in this meeting we told you that we would have, such and such a contract to you by such, and he goes back into his notes and he says, at such and such a time on this day, you actually told me this. And so it's helped him in business, but it's also helped him to capture those great ideas.
It's good to actually hear. I didn't know that I'm dyslexic myself.
Oh, cool.
So it's something that I've battled with my whole life, and it's inspiring to hear that somebody that's that successful is also, and I'm the same way. I have to write everything down, and I have to keep really, I have to keep really organized, my thoughts really, really organized, because they can get away from you really easy.
Yeah, so that's guys, if you want to pick up that book, Richard Branson, The Virgin Way, it's pretty amazing. It's got a lot of really good stuff in it. He was actually, he left one of the best private schools in England at 16 because he wanted to start a magazine called Student Magazine. and that's kind of what kind of launched his
Wow.
whole career. But yeah, I mean, listening to guys like Richard Branson and Gary Vaynerchuk's a great person for anybody out there. If you're looking for good content, go to these guys, their YouTube, their audiobooks. And I just listen to them in the car, because when you're a business owner, you don't have time. You might be a parent. You might be,
all of the above.
You might be in school still, and you might be super busy. But guess what? When you're in the car, when you're riding your bicycle, when you're in the gym. Michael actually taught me to do this, and it's been really helpful, because you can be learning all the time, or a lot of the time, and and you can really learn a lot of things that I write them down on my BlackBerry. I've got a dinosaur of a phone. Don't laugh, but I put a memo pad in, and then I don't forget it, and I label them all, and so that's really good.
That's awesome.
Now, holidays in Vegas are kind of crazy. What do you got planned for this year?
So Christmas, I'm actually going to stay. I'm moving into a new house. I just actually got the keys to it like a couple hours ago. So I'm going to be spending all of Christmas. Thank you. I'm going to be spending all Christmas. My wife has given me strict instructions.
Yep.
I'm not allowed to leave the house until it is completely decorated. Every box will be empty before I can leave the house. So I will be spending Christmas doing that, which I'm actually excited for.
That's good.
Yeah. We live in a temporary housing situation now, and it's like a shanty hut. So I'm so excited to move into this nice new home, because where the plumbing works and all that. It's great.
Now, the scene in San Diego is getting pretty crazy. I keep hearing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on down there with those crazy people in California?
So San Diego is definitely emerging as one of the largest nightlife destinations in the country. Cake Nightclub's coming there. They just opened Park, which is a mega club.
And Cake Nightclub is owned by Las Vegas people, right?
No, from Arizona, I believe.
Okay. But Mike, who runs it, used to work here in Vegas.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, I love how everybody's just kind of taking over the whole world. Dave Evans and those guys down in Austin.
Exactly.
With the Rio. Mike, they're just great.
It is.
Corey
awesome.
Negrelli at Park.
At Park, I know. I was just
love
thinking
Corey.
that. That's so funny.
Shout out to you, Corey.
He is an awesome guy.
So then you're going to be DJing. Mario Lopez is hosting the night.
Absolutely.
What are some tips that you can give to people, maybe aspiring? I know a lot of kids that go study journalism in school. How to handle being around celebrities, and how to kind of conduct yourself in a way that is that you can maybe find a career in it.
I can definitely tell you from personal experience that I have had really, really great celebrity experiences, and I've had really nervous, awkward celebrity experiences. And it was almost like a skill that I needed to learn. But at the end of the day, I can tell you, they're just like you. You crack a joke, and if it's funny, they'll laugh. And a lot of times, they're so used to people being awkward around them that if you are yourself, they find it so refreshing, and they want to hang out with you. They're very, very few of them are like, don't come near me, or get away from me, or whatnot. A lot of them are just like, if you're able to go up and have a conversation with them, they typically love it. And if you can carry a good conversation with them, they love it even more, because like I said, a lot of people are really awkward and are nervous around them, and they're easy to be nervous around. But just be yourself. That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you have? Any embarrassing stories you can tell us about most embarrassing celebrity encounter?
I have two really embarrassing celebrity encounters. The first one, I got to meet Jay-Z one time.
Oh wow!
And I mean, I literally, when he stands up, and we were at the Bellagio, he was gambling, and when I was with Richie Kiva, that owns One Oak. We go over there, and he's really good friends with him. And he's like, hey, this is Ikon, this is Jay-Z. And he stands up, and he's, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4", and he, like, towers over me.
Really?
And, like, towers over me. And he shakes my hand.
You didn't faint, did you?
I almost fainted. He shakes my hand, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like,
hi, Mr. Carter.
And I just, like, I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yay! And I just, like,
so you went back to the 16-year-old asking the girl to the prom.
Exactly.
Just lost
Sweaty
all the words.
I'm like sweating.
It happens to everybody.
And luckily he's so nice, and he just started laughing. And then I was like, I kind of just laughed it off, and I was like, hey, what's up? Yep. But, he was laughing. He just thought it was really funny. And then I actually literally ran into, I'm a big golfer.
Yep.
And there's a female golfer from Vegas that lives here who's really, really pretty. And I actually literally ran into her one time in the valet
in a golf
at the airport.
Cart?
No, I wish. So I was in valet. She was in valet. I turn around and I walk right into her. And she's like, oh, excuse me. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're Natalie Gomez!" And they pulled my car up right then. And I look at her, and I look at my car, I look back at her.
What are you gonna do?
And I just ran away, and she just started laughing. And I was like, I just got in my car and drove away. And
Oh my God, you retreated.
I retreated bad.
Oh God, I've had so many. I mean, I gotta shout out to Eduardo Cordova who put me on camera with celebrities because I was not cut out to do it. I think my first interview, it was just with the camera and me, and I must have taken 20 takes. George, you can attest to this. 20 takes because I was so nervous just because there was a light and a camera, and it's weird talking to a black box with a little hole in it. Yeah, I'm talking to you. and then the next interview after that, I think, was Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton, and so they used to make fun of me because I didn't know, because I would like freeze up. So I wouldn't freeze up and you wouldn't know of it, but you would know because I would just say everything was amazing. Just everything was amazing. And then Eduardo would be like, do you have like any other word in your vocabulary? So I just like ask him a question. I ask the same question, and then everything, no matter what they said, if it was bad, good, ugly, I'd be like, that's amazing. This is so amazing. And it's just the only thing, I guess, that my...
Did Eduardo get you a thesaurus for Christmas one year?
No, he probably slapped me on the face, though. He was like, good is also a word. So that was, a lot of growing pains. And, I still get nervous every once in a while.
It's easy to do. I mean, it is really, really easy to see people that, you look at all the time. And then sometimes, that you really look up to, like Jay-Z. Like, I look up to him, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like my idol, like, my favorite rapper of all time, and he's standing right in front of me,
Yeah, I never got to meet Beyonce, but I was lucky enough to go to a concert, and our friend put us in the front row, and I shook her hand, and for me, that was enough. I didn't have to say anything. I was just like, oh God. So tell us, if people want to know more about you, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way? Let's start with social media.
Social media, at DJ Ikon on Instagram, DJ Ikon on Twitter. You can follow me. I'm really active.
That's DJ Ikon.
Ikon, yes.
Right.
I'm really active on my website, which is djikonlive.com. And you can
do you
check
post
me out.
blogs about the latest in sneaker wars?
It's funny you say that.
We should do an event called Sneaker Wars.
That's actually a great idea.
We should do that. Okay, copyright that, George. Write that down. On this day, I thought of it.
No
okay,
pencil?
I'm doing it right now.
Sneaker Wars. No, so you were saying you post a lot of stuff on your site.
I do post a lot of stuff on my site, and it's funny you say that. I'm actually going to start posting a lot about upcoming fashion and things that I'm into and trends and whatnot. I find that people are really into it, and owning a successful sneaker boutique gives me like a real insight into what's coming up and what's coming out, and so.
And then if people want to book you as a DJ,
contact Kalika Mokwin at blackoutartist.com, or just log on to the site blackoutartist.com, and you can just go to my page and go to book now.
we should go to Australia. We should do a Blackout Artist Australia tour.
I am so down for that.
Because I've always dreamed of the triumphant return back to my home country.
And I've always dreamed about going to Australia, so I'm
dude,
100% down for that.
We'll hunt some crocodiles. It'll be good. I have my birthday that I'm going to celebrate coming up, and I'm super excited. I'm going to do it early because, of course, being on Christmas Day, it sucks. So for anybody that's snowboarding out there, anyone in the industry, I think we're going to Brian Head. We're leaving late Monday night.
Awesome.
After a party, which we cannot name the location of.
But don't worry, you'll get an egg. The egg will have a password. The password, you'll call the number, and the number will have the location.
Yes, something like that. Do you still snowboard, or you don't snowboard anymore?
Oh no, definitely. I love to snowboard. I mean, growing up in Lake Tahoe, I came out with skis on one foot and snowboard on the other.
Man, I think it was one of Kalika's events called the Tahoe Takeover, where I fell in love with snowboarding. And I'm a prissy guy. I've never did anything close to extreme sports, but Tahoe Takeover. And so we were in heavenly.
Oh yeah, that's literally my backyard.
At the old Caesar's Palace, remember?
Yeah, that's my backyard right there.
It's called Mount Blue now, so I can't wait for this season. But guys, if you want to hear more about DJ Ikon, make sure you follow him. And
awesome.
He is great. If you are in the market for social media or marketing help for your company, you can go to futuremedia.com, and there are numbers on there, 702-379-9654. Give us a call, and George will answer with his husky voice, and we'll get you sorted out.
Hello.
Well, guys, it's been a great show. We got to go because it's Thursday night in Las Vegas. Where are you playing tonight?
Tris Nightclub. You find me there, and then I'll be in Seattle Saturday, Sunday.
Tris Nightclub tonight. So I am Sancho Van Ryan. This is DJ Ikon. You've been watching the Viva Vegas TV show, and thank you very much. We'll see you next week.